So we've covered how not to talk to non-vegans.
Stay here and get you.
You know meat contains poop. You know milk contains pus. Not my proudest moments. But today we're going to talk about how to talk to non-vegans. I promise I won't hit this time. Hi, it's Emily from Bite Size Vegan, and welcome to another Vegan Nugget. I'm asked all the time about how to effectively talk to non-vegans, or even purely dietary vegans, to help them make the connection or a deeper connection. I'd argue that perhaps the most difficult aspect of going vegan is the question of how to relate to friends, family, and other people who are non-vegan. As brand new vegans, your eyes are wide open to all of these realities you'd never before considered, and you can't quite understand why everyone isn't having the same earth-shattering revelation. So communication, especially grounded communication, can become difficult. And what often comes out is either unbridled overzealousness, militant anger, incomprehensible sadness and crying fits, or some other, often bizarre attempt at expressing astounding new realities you've awakened to. While I do have some videos that touch on this matter and the social and familial challenges of veganism, which will be linked up there and below, I haven't yet made a direct video response. Well, it just so happens that in the Q&A session for a speech I gave recently, these very questions were once again posed. I kept these answers out of the official Q&A video for that speech, as these are more geared towards those of you who are already vegan and are now trying to navigate the difficult landscape of talking about veganism with others. So I thought I'd share with you my on-the-spot answers from that session, and I so hope that they are helpful.
If you just meet a non-vegan, what's the best way to get them to make a connection on like a deep ethical level?
Yeah, smack him in the face. No, I'm just, that's what I want to do sometimes. I have a video where I run around and I punch people. It's on. I'm sorry, you guys. Also, just so you guys know, I do this 24/7. So sometimes I sound like, well, I have this video. You know, I live on this computer, so that it always comes out of my mouth, and I apologize. But so with non-vegans, again, it's going to depend so much on the person and where they're at. And if you're walking down the street and you see someone eating a hamburger, it's not going to be the time to be like, hey, you know. But if you're talking to family, friends, loved ones, or even at work, what I always tell people, I have people email me all the time and say, like, you know, how do I become an activist? How do I start talking about this? And I think a lot of us think that we have to do things like this. Like we have to, like, do a presentation. You know, I need to go, you know, talk to everyone. I need to do these huge things. When really there are always these opportunities in daily life, these tiny opportunities that we can take. And I think some of the most powerful activism happens one-on-one with just even the smallest of exchanges. You know, it can be something as simple as, like, if you have a friend who is really into rescuing dogs and cats. You know, maybe there's someone who is into that. They volunteer at the shelter or anything. And you can share maybe a story you heard about, like, you know, at a farm sanctuary where, you know, sometimes pigs will jump off slaughterhouse trucks and then, you know, they're found and these sanctuary people take them in. And so it can even be like, you know, I know that you're really into animal rescue. I heard about this, you know, pig that got rescued. You know, here's this cute YouTube video of them. Even these really, like, subtle ways of kind of introducing the fact that, you know, what's the difference between this animal and this animal. In general, because I can't speak to every situation and every person, I find the most effective manner is meeting people where they're at, finding that common ground, like finding what their interests are and where there's an entry point. Because for each person, that's going to be different. Like, maybe they're a super, super health nut, you know, and they're really wanting to, like, cleanse or something. You can kind of start bringing in some information about, you know, what animal products do to your body. You know, if they're really a huge environmentalist and they recycle and they bike everywhere, you know, you can, you know, drop some of the facts that are just astounding, you know, because that can really hit someone. But I think in general, it's kind of meeting them where they are at and trying to make it as approachable as possible and as non-confrontational as possible. Now, there's a balance there between, Like, I try to be really approachable with my activism, but I will never compromise on the actual facts and on the actual morals. I'll never say, oh, it's okay to do X, Y, or Z because you're trying your best. There's a way to walk that line, and it's difficult at first, but kind of doing that of, like, being approachable, honoring where they're at while not excusing away behavior. But we have to kind of try to meet people where they're at and lead them rather than expect them to be where we are, because once you go vegan and you do realize all of these things, it's almost unfathomable that other people don't see it. Yeah. You know, and I think it's very much like when we're children, and the older we get, the more we kind of forget what it was like to be a kid, and then we even get awkward around children, which is strange because we were children. You know, like, why are we, like, we don't know how to talk to kids even though we were kids. And it's the same kind of thing when you go vegan. Like, you become so distant from when you weren't vegan that it's like, how do I even talk to these people? You know? So I think a lot of it, too, is trying to remember where you were at and remember that, like I said, you're going to get people who are just aggressive and rude and not open, but a lot of people just don't know any better. And I think it's also important to be mindful of the fact that, like, I get asked the same questions millions of times, like, where do I get my protein, things like that. And it's really easy for me to be like, oh my God. But I try to think of the fact that this might be the 200 millionth time I've heard this question. This might be the first time this person is finally asking this, you know, it's, you know, it may be coming from a very genuine place of, like, they really want to know. And maybe they've never asked before, and they are finally deciding to look into this. And I don't want to be the person that like, just is flippant and brushes them off, you know. So I just try to always give people the benefit of the doubt with that.
I hope that this video was helpful. I'd love to hear what you thought of my approach and what approach you use. What seems effective to you? If you're non-vegan, have you experienced conversations and communication methods that were effective versus not with vegans? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it around to help open communication. If you're new, be sure to hit that big red subscribe button down there for more awesome vegan content every Monday, Wednesday, and some Fridays. If you want to help support Bite Size Vegan, check out either of the support links in the video description below. And for perks and rewards for your support, you can click on the Nugget Army icon there or the link in the sidebar. Now go live vegan, start the conversation, and I'll see you soon. Okay, that one I'm kind of proud of.